This is episode number 165 of the Middle Country Public Library podcast. Hello and welcome. I'm Sal DiVincenzo, joined as usual by my fabulous colleagues, Sara Fate.
Hello.
And Nicole Rambo.
Hello.
How is everyone doing?
Good.
We'd like to welcome our new listeners on YouTube and on Spotify.
Welcome.
We rolled out last week. It went pretty well. We got some downloads from both of those services, in addition to our usual spots. So thank you so much for listening on those new services, and we're looking forward to potentially expanding to more services in the future. We got some things that I'm working on, try to get it out there. So that's a good thing.
Nice.
Just a quick little bit of housekeeping. Our budget vote was on Tuesday. Just want to thank everyone who supported us. The vote passed. The budget passed. 311 to 74. And John Hochter was reelected to the Board of Trustees. So thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it.
Congratulations.
And it's all good. Moving forward now, we have some nice subjects we're going to talk about on today's show. Why don't we start with Nicole?
Well, we're both talking about the same topic because April is Poetry Month. I'll talk about it kind of on the children's side.
Okay, very good.
Because there is poetry for children, believe it or not.
Is there?
There is.
Well, Shel Silverstein is one of my favorite poets.
I would say, yeah. So, there is, I don't know, sometimes I think of poetry as like an adult thing, you know?
Sure.
But even like when you're learning to read, rhyming is a big factor. Not that poems need to rhyme, which is like something that I think also people assume, but they absolutely don't. But so like rhyming is obviously one of the first things that you learn as a child. And then there's a lot of poetry books. There's a picture book called Otto the Owl, who loved poetry.
Nice.
Yeah, so that sounds cute. And then as Sara mentioned, Shel Silverstein is a classic.
Yes.
One of my favorites, A Light in the Attic and Where the Sidewalk Ends.
Where the Sidewalk Ends.
Yep.
Yes.
Great. There's a really short one about like the babysitter who sat on the baby. Till this day, I think it's one of the funniest things that I've ever read in my life. There's also a Walt Whitman Words for America picture book that won some awards. It's a really great children's book about Walt Whitman, who was like America's poet, right? And the illustrations are really beautiful by Brian Selznick as the illustrator. And then as you get a little bit older or like reading levels, we have like novels in verse that are very popular. So these are like novels that have like a poetry like rhyme scheme to them. Love That Dog and Hate That Cat by Sharon Creech are two famous ones.
Funny.
And then Jacqueline Woodson, who is a very famous novelist, children's middle grade writer. Brown Girl Dreaming, which is autobiography, and Locomotion are both novels in verse by her. And then every year it changes every 2 or 3 years. There's like a young people's poet laureate, because we have like the poet laureate for adults. And then there's also a young people's poet laureate. So you can check out who that is now, and also past ones, and you can look up their work. And then there's the poetryfoundation.org that has a whole children's section. And so, and then they have poems by like Maya Angelou and Robert Frost that like we think of as adult poets or whatever. But, obviously children can read them and they might get something different out of them, but it's like a good place to start. And then as you get older, you read it and you pick up something different. And that's like normal.
Yeah.
And then if you are interested in poetry, it's the nonfiction section, like 811 is kind of like the poetry nonfiction section. You can find some stuff there too.
Cool.
So I would say sit down with your kids and read some poems. And you have funny ones like Shel Silverstein, and then you have like more serious ones. So I think that'd be fun.
I think you had mentioned about the rhyming thing, and it makes it a tiny bit easier to remember words and to learn words when they're in poem format and rhyming and whatnot. I mean, look at music. I mean, it's pretty much, how it's the easy way of learning language through music.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
and you definitely, like you said, with the memorization at least, because like you can't remember, what you did yesterday, but you can hear a song that you haven't heard in like 15 years and remember every single word.
Right.
And you're like, oh yeah. So
it's the same with poetry too. Great. All right, so that's the children's side, the youth side, and the adult side. Sara, what do you got?
Like Nicole said, if you go to poets.org, that's sort of like the website to go to. It is National Poetry Month. It was launched by the Academy of American Poets in April of 1996, so it's kind of new, which is good. And then I did not know there were children's laureates. Something to learn.
Oh.
But the current U.S. Poet Laureate, do you know who that is?
No.
No. Neither did I. But her name is Joy Harjo. She was appointed the U.S. Poet Laureate in 2019. She was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1951, and she is a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation. So she is the author of several books of poetry, including An American Sunrise and Conflict Resolution for Holy Beings. They have a little biography on her at the poets.org website.
So the young people's one is Naomi Shihab Nye. She is the current poet laureate from 2019 to 2021.
Okay. So if you go to poets.org, they actually have Poem of the Day, and then they have, you can look up poets, poems, etc. So actually, if you go to Joy Harjo's biography, they have some poems. So one was called Once the World Was Perfect, and I was going to read it, but I'm not going to read it. However, so that's poets.org. It's a free website. And if you go to our website, mcplibrary.org, and go to our databases, we have something called the Columbia Granger's World of Poetry.
Oh, my goodness.
So this is good because it also gives you citations if you want to use some of the poems that you find here.
Brings back memories of library school.
Yes, exactly. So, however, this is, this has a big range of poems and stuff like that. And you can do it by poet, poem, advanced search by subject. And then you can go by like word in the first line or word in the last line or just a keyword search. So if you're looking for something very particular, say for an event or something or whatever you may want to get a poem for, it's a good way to do it. So I looked up two things that I like. One is, I have a special place in my heart for dogs.
Yes.
And wine. So,
So this poem's about dogs and wine.
Yeah. So, Columbia Rangers gave me this poem called Wine, aptly named, by Barry Cornwall. And he lived from 1787 to 1874. So wine, obviously, has been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
So, Barry, this is his ode to wine. Ready, guys?
Yes.
I love wine, bold, bright wine that biddeth the manly spirit shine. Others may care for water fare, but give me wine. Ancient wine, brave old wine, how it around the heart doth twine. Poets may love the stars above, but I love wine. Not but wine, noble wine, strong and sound and old and fine. What can scare the devil despair like brave bright wine? Oh, brave wine, rare old wine, once thou wast deemed a god divine. Bad are the rhymes and bad the times that scorn old wine. So brave wine, dear old wine, morning, noon, and night I'm thine. Whatever may be, I'll stand by thee, immortal wine. So, I just did a little search there for wine, and actually there was a lot of poems dedicated to
wine.
To wine.
That's funny.
And then this author, a poet, Edgar Albert Guest, and he lived from 1881 to 1959, and he wrote a poem about the yellow dog, and it's very cute. It's very sweet. So I'm gonna recite it to you guys. Okay. It was a little yellow dog, a wistful thing to see, a homely, skinny, battered pup, as dirty as could be. His ribs were showing through his hide, his coat was thick with mud, and yet the way he wagged his tail completely captured Bud. He had been kicked from door to door and stoned upon his way. Begone was all he'd ever heard, 'twas all that folks would say. And yet this miserable cur, forever doomed to roam, struck up a comradeship with Bud, who proudly brought him home. I've never seen so poor a dog in all my stretch of years. The burrs were thick upon his tail and thick upon his ears. He'd had to fight his way through life and carried many a scar, but still Bud brought him home and cried, "Say, can I keep him, Ma?" I think the homeless terrier knows that age is harsh and stern, and from the shabby things of life and scorn is quick to turn. And when some scrubby yellow dog needs a sympathy and joy, he's certain of a friend in need if he can find a boy.
Aww.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So there
That's
were
very nice.
there's a lot of poems about
Oh,
dogs.
of course.
Yeah, so that is a lovely database that we have at mcplibrary.org if you want to find some poems.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Nicole mentioned that there's a lot of great poems on the JMYA side for adults too.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and go to poets.org for more information on Poets Laureate.
So you have poets.org and I have poetryfoundation.org. Is it the same thing? So there's several websites out there for poetry.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're both valid, I think. So,
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, ladies.
Sure.
I'm wondering if I had told you the first line of some of the most famous poems, if you would be able to identify
What?
the
I got
author.
a C in my college poetry class, so probably not.
Wait, identify the poem or poet?
The poet.
Definitely not.
No.
Well,
I know like
I
three.
bet you might get some of these.
All right.
You want to try?
That's true.
Sure.
All right. This one's, I think, right off the bat is pretty easy. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
Oh, Shakespeare.
There you go. Right? So you got right off
I got
the
one.
bat, right?
I got a B in that class.
What about Tiger, Tiger, burning bright?
Is that Elizabeth Barrett Browning? No.
Oh.
That's
Well, I see the gears turning. Sarah, you can do this. You can
No,
get
I
it.
can't.
Tiger, Tiger, burning
it's
bright.
not Emily Browning.
No,
Is it a woman?
no.
Is it that
That guy who writes the poems?
yeah, that's exactly where I was going
You're
with
right.
that.
Yes, William Blake.
Oh no, it's not clue.
Okay.
I can just go through like all the okay.
All right, what about this one?
Okay.
Oh, my love's like a red, red rose.
Taylor Swift.
Correct. No, nobody? Robert Burns? What about this one? I wandered lonely as a cloud.
E.E. Cummings.
No.
That's a good one. Good guess.
William Wordsworth.
Ah.
Yes. To be in England.
Oh really?
James Joyce.
No, Robert Browning.
Again.
Another?
Yeah, another Robert Browning. These are the most famous that they say. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this one you'll get.
All right.
This one you'll get. Everyone should get this one.
Okay.
I heard a fly buzz when I died.
Edgar Allan Poe.
No.
Oh
No,
my
really?
God.
No.
Really? This is one that I remember from like high school. I know it's a long time ago for me, but I heard a fly buzz when I died. Emily Dickinson.
Oh, no, it's Emily.
Yeah, I like her.
If I should die,
Before I wake.
Same thing.
if I should die, think only this of me. No?
No.
Rupert Brooke.
Who?
Rupert.
Sorry,
Brooke.
Rupert. Sorry, Rupert.
Oh, here we go. Here's one perfect.
Okay.
All right. April is the cruelest month.
Robert Frost.
Nope.
I'm just saying names. I have no idea.
No, yeah. It's T.S. Eliot.
Oh,
Ah.
I've heard of that one.
The only thing I know about T.S. Eliot is the Cats book.
No, I can't
Do you
say-
know these? If we had said these to
I
you?
can't. No, I know.
I know the poems,
There's a
but I
couple
would
of
never
them.
be able to.
So this last one, I can't actually say the actual title, the actual first line. So I'm just going to use a letter to replace the word.
Oh, okay.
They F you up, your mom and dad.
Yeah. Is it? Oh, I see his face.
It says, without a doubt, the naughtiest opening line on this list.
Bob Dylan.
No. Philip Larkin.
Oh,
Is he like contemporary?
he must
Yes.
be.
Yeah. Sounds pretty contemporary.
Yeah, he's not from the 1800s.
Yes, it's a yes.
They method you up.
Yes, and we'll put this in the show notes where you can see all those poems and read them for yourself.
Yeah.
But yes,
Let us know your favorite poem.
yes. What is your favorite poem?
Mm-hmm.
Appropriate poem. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for this poetic episode. If you want to listen to older episodes or read our show notes, visit our website, mcplpodcast.com. There you can sign up for a Podbean account and interact with us through the comment section. So definitely take a listen over there. If you want to email us, reach out to us, you can send us a traditional email, podcast@mcplibrary.org, and we will get back to you. Please email us. We're lonely. We want to hear from you. So for Sarah Fade and Nicole Rambo, I'm Sal DiVincenzo. We'll see you on the next show.